Ambassador?
It would be nice if he would step down, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I think that we sort of put him aside at the best of, in the best of all worlds, and we have a prime minister appointed that is non-corrupt, that is not from the political sector, that is not from the private sector. There are several really good candidates. I'm not going to name them, but there are several. And then we have this summit that we put out the OCEP. We have a summit where the actors come back to the table and we discuss how we can get the right representation in order to have a CEP that is credible. I mean, that is one solution that I can see happening within the very near future. I think the problem with transitional governments is then we're in that mess again, and it slows down everything again. It's not that in fact, I wrote a piece, or I talked to a piece in the New Yorker a couple of years ago when I said, I think that's exactly what we need. But I think right now we could use the prime minister option.
The prime minister option. So that video has been circulating in Haiti and among the scattered Haitian diaspora, but hasn't been previously reported on. So I reached out to Ambassador White, and she said she was stunned that anybody might think from her put aside comment that it meant she was suggesting something nefarious. Good grief, this cannot be true. As I said in my testimony, if he stays in power. No one in their right mind would think I had anything to do with his assassination, so no, I do not want to clarify a statement that was very clear. I have been proven right. Moise was not presidential material. He had totally lost the support of the Haitian people with reason. This entire saga is just unbelievable. You have more than enough nefarious characters to investigate. I am not one of them.
Please listen. This is an SOS to all humans throughout this world. The international community has committed once again a crime against humanity. The assassination of the Haitian president in July 2021 should definitely be declared a human rights violation, a crime against humanity. In the 21st century, these sort of crimes should no longer be taking place in our society. Humans everywhere need to stand up and fight against this injustice. For more than 200 years now, a certain group in the international community has continuously destabilizing the nation of Haiti due to the fact of the way they have taken their own freedom from these oppressors. They have come up with all sorts of masquerade agendas to keep this nation in poverty and never to come out of the shadow of slavery.
With its intelligence assets that it has on Haiti, had no idea that this was happening. And so
either that or our intelligence sucks. Right. They keep saying, oh, we had nothing to do with it. We don't know, for a variety of things that they've done around the world. So, okay, why do you even exist then, CIA? If you're this bad at your job, right? At this point, either that or you're just not telling us the truth.
Right. And this wasn't planned exactly out in the open, but if you read a lot of the reporting around how it was planned, it involved, like we said, this Florida-based firm. It involved the now chief of police in Haiti. It involved these Colombian mercenaries that had to travel, all over the place to get this done. Lots of phone calls. Stuff is not all being done on encrypted channels. Like, this is the kind of thing that could easily be uncovered aside from all the human sources that they have. And so the sense among a lot of Haitians is that the U.S. knew that this was happening, and it fit with what White is saying. White wasn't saying just go kill the guy, but White is clearly saying there that it is in the U.S. interests for him to be put aside. And so the people that are then putting him aside can feel comfortable that they will have U.S. support after they do that. And in fact, they were correct, as Henri still does have U.S. support, despite the public allegations and the public evidence that he was implicated in the assassination.
Yeah, just wish we could leave countries alone.
That'd be something, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it? Yeah.
Right. The other thing that has people suspicious, right before, not long before Moise was killed, he had taken a trip to Turkey, which is facing toward Russia and China, and so there was all this angst that, wait a minute, is this another country within our hemisphere that we're bungling so badly that now it's going to be out of our influence, and China and Russia and Turkey are going to be involved with them? And so all of these things mixed together, and here we are. All right, and we will have
why
more.
Wouldn't they, right? Yeah.
It is amazing to me how they always find a group of so-called Haitians to go along with their agendas. It is infuriating to continue to witness this sort of injustice continuously taking place in the 21st century. Good people of this world, the people of Haiti needs your help to fight this injustice that has been taking place for more than 200 years, continuously keeping us in poverty. We can do for ourselves. We have enough natural resources to take care of our land. We have capable Haitians who are able to take on the task and do the best they can do for every Haitian. The international community, it's time for them to take a step back and let the good Haitian people take on their own agendas. It is time for them to take a step aside, unlike them telling the president needs to take a step aside. Who gives these people the right to tell who needs to step aside or not? Why they always meddling in other nations' affairs? I don't understand this. It is time for us to get away from this sort of slavery. There are well-capable young Haitians who are prepared to take on the task of managing their country affair. It is time for the international community to step aside, period. There's no ifs and buts. They're the one who always quick to call us shithole country, but they are the one who always dare to create all the chaos that takes place in our nation. The Haitian president who they assassinated was one of those Haitians who was well prepared and was doing a great job, but they put themselves together with a bunch of mental slave mentality oligarchs as well as politicians to make sure they destabilized his government throughout his term of power. They make sure they create a condition for which the country was never in peace, so he can never get the job that he set out to do. This is unbelievable, man. The guy had a great plan for his country to make sure everything goes according to plan. But the international community, with all the corrupt politicians in that nation, as well as the oligarchs, did not want this guy to succeed. They did everything in their power to make sure he failed. There's not one thing he wanted to accomplish that they supported him for. Everything was a problem. They create all sort of issues to make sure the country was destabilized. The government was destabilized. All the institutions in that nation are non-existent. Nothing was being run properly because of how they create the condition of the country for him not to succeed. This is an injustice, man. And they want to make you feel or see that he was the one that was incapable. That's an injustice in itself. Because the good people who was paying close attention to how the president was managing the country knows he was the one. He was the one doing all he can to try and make this country work. This is a true crime against humanity. We need to stand up. We need to stand up, good people of this world. We gotta say enough is enough. This is the 21st century. We need to move on with our lives. Everybody should be equal in the eye of the higher power of the natural world, so to speak. This is an injustice, people. We cannot sit idle and just watch and just pretend that this injustice has not taken place. These people should not be getting away with this assassination. Period. We all need to say something. We all need to stand up and fight. This should no longer be taking place in this world. I am tired. I am soon to be 45 years old. Ever since I was a kid, I never really see a prosper Haiti which is capable of itself doing so. A lot of us are living out of this country. Look at me. I'm in this cold weather in the house. I cannot be outside. A lot of times I would love to go back to Haiti and spend my time on the beach, enjoy some great food by the beach and enjoy the weather. Believe it or not all Haitians want to leave the country. The way they create the condition for these people to feel dire to the everyday living condition that they put them in. It's only right that they quick to leave the country. They create the condition for them to always want to leave the country. The international community is one of the major problems of what's going on with that country. They are the problem. There's no ifs and buts. Of course, they have those corrupt politicians that they can always find. I don't know how, but they're always able to find it. It's like the blueprint throughout the world. Wherever they go, they always find these people in which they can control, in which they have something over them to always cohorts with them to carry their agendas. This needs to stop, man. And we need to stand up and fight and ask for justice for this president that they assassinated in July 2021. Once again, this is not just a Haitian fight. It is a crime against humanity. It's a crime against humanity. We should no longer be going through this sort of chaos throughout this world. We need to stand up and fight against this injustice. This has to stop. This should no longer be taking place in the 21st century. Once again, I thank you for taking your time and listening to this video. I want to say peace and one love.